Hello everyone. Today we are going to discussing about the evolutionary biology, that is unit 3 in paper 7. In that now we are going to know about the role of evolutionary forces in speciation. Let us start the class. According to Darwin, useful variations are inherited from one generation to another generation and goes on accumulating in the individuals of species. According to the Darwin, I am telling again, according to the Darwin, the useful variations are inherited from one generation to another generation and they are goes on accumulating in the individuals of species. Due to the accumulation of useful variations, new organisms are formed with new characters. The accumulation of that new characters by natural selection over many generations results in the formation or origin of new species. This is called as speciation. Many forces play a very important role in origin of new species. A few among them as follows. The first one is sexual reproduction, second one is mutation, third one is genetic drift, and the fourth one is natural selection, and fifth one is isolation. Let us see one by one. The first one is sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is a type of reproduction that is seen in most of the higher animals. We know that sexual reproduction will be taking place in the higher animals. In all sexually reproducing organisms, recombination process occurs during the gametogenesis. During the crossing over of recombination process, exchange of genetic material or reshuffling of genes takes place between non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes. It results in the new combination of genes and bring about new characters or variation in offsprings that bring about the new characters because of the chromosomes exchange, reshuffling of the genes or genetic material, new combination of the genes and bring about the new characters or variations in the offsprings. The reshuffling of genes allows the mutations to be eliminated or retained if necessary. Variations are the raw material for evaluation. If they are favorable, they are selected and propagated in the future generations. Similarly, during the crossing over, the closely associated genes are not separated easily and are inherited together. This is a good example for strong linkage, and it could be as a result of a positive selection. This is also we call it as haplotype. This is also called as haplotype. Recombination can be a break up the linked gene combinations that have been together for several generations. This can cause a production of new combination of variations that have to force selection and will succeed if the variations are favorable. Sometimes, due to the absence of crossing over between X and Y chromosomes, the recombination process cannot separate genes from Y chromosome in mammals. This is the reason why the mutation gets propagated, whether it is good or bad. Normally, genetic material is transferred from the parent to offspring. We are know that the normally genetic material is transferred from one parent to offsprings, but in certain cases genetic material is transferred to another unrelated organism of the same species or different species. This is also called as horizontal gene transfer or lateral gene transfer. This horizontal gene transfer causes alteration of gene. As such, the genes are propagated to future generation for organic evolution. This is the first one, that is sexual reproduction. Then come to the second one, that is mutation. Mutation, I know that you studied also in the previous classes. Mutation means sudden changes in the genes. Genes are very important here. Genes are the units of heredity. Sudden changes in the gene or genetic material that brings about the inheritable change in the body character is called as mutation. It is one of the raw material for organic evolution. The concept of mutation was proposed by Hugo de Vries by conducting the classical experiments on wild plant called evening primrose. As mutation brings about inheritable change in the body character, these new characteristics are accumulated in the same individual through generations and it may result in speciation. However, mutations are slow and small and some mutations are harmful. Mutations alone cannot bring about the speciation, but mutation forms one of the important concept of evolution. Means the mutation, you know that the sudden changes in the genes. This alone cannot bring about the speciation, but it is one of the important concept for evolution. Evolution means something, it is a new, it is a changing, something it is a changing, that is called as evolution. These are all how it will help for the evolution, maybe a sexual reproduction or mutation, genetic drift, natural selection, isolation. These are all the how they are helping for the evolution. The next one is genetic drift. It is a mechanism for evolution in which gene frequencies of alleles change by chance in a naturally isolated population. It occurs in all populations, but its effects are strongest in small population because inbreeding due to a less availability of mates. Inbreeding due to less availability of mates ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ availability less ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಲೌಡ್ ಟು ರೀಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಲೋ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಹಂಗಾಗಿನೂ ಸಹ ಇದು ಲೆಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಫರ್ದರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಿಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಜೆನೆಟಿಕ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್. ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಮ್ ಹಲೇಲ್ಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಜೆನೆಟಿಕ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲೀಲ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದ ರೈಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅದರ್ alleles to 100% frequency means it may result in loss of some alleles including beneficial ones ಸಹ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ಸಹ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಅಲೀಲ್ಸೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ನ್ಯೂ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟೂ ರೆಮಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್. ಯಾವುದಪ್ಪ ಅದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಬಾಟಲ್ ನೆಕ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫೌಂಡರ್ಸ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್. ಲೆಟ್ us know the bottleneck effect. What it will tell means, at least for one generation, the genetic variability in sharply or suddenly reduced in a population due to natural disaster or hunting. ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಡಿಸಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಬಂತು, ಮೇ ಬಿ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದರೆ ಬೆಂಕಿ ಆಗೋದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಹಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಈ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಡನ್ನಾಗಿ ವೇರಿಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಆ ಒಂದು ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ನೇ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ದ ಚೀತಾ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ಆಫ್ರಿಕಾ. ಒಂದು ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ so much of cheetahs are present in Africa, but because of the hunting, so the population, the genetic variability ತುಂಬ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಚೀತಾಸೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ದ ಜೆನೆಟಿಕ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಜೆನೆಟಿಕ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಫೌಂಡರ್ಸ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್. ವೆನ್ ಫ್ಯೂ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಐಸೋಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಮೈನ್ parental population or original parental gene pool, it results in the formation of small subselection of populations or a small fraction of genetic variability of the parental population or small split group of parental population. Further, these smaller selection of population play a very important role as founder for the enhancement of new gene pool or new population. The effect by which rare alleles and combination of alleles may be enhanced in new population is called as founder's effect. Here only when few members of a population are isolated, some of the population ನಾವು ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಐಸೋಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಮೈನ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಜೀನ್ ಪೂಲ್, ಇಟ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಸಬ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಐಸೋಲೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹೋಲ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪನ ಐಸೋಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ದಟ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಜೀನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ದಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲರ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ರೋಲ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಫೌಂಡರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎನ್ಹಾನ್ಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಜೀನ್ಸ್. ಆ ಇರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಜೀನ್ಸೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡೋವಂಥದ್ದು. The effect by which rare alleles and combination of alleles may be enhanced in new population is called as founder's effect. Then some of the silent features of genetic drift are evolutionary forces aspirate in small population, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ಜೀನ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಇನ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಅಕರ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಯೂರ್ಲಿ ಬೈ ಚಾನ್ಸ್, ಅಪ್ಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಆಡ್ಲಿ. ವೀನ್ಬರ್ಗ್ ಈಕ್ವಿಲಿಬ್ರಿಯಮ್, ನಿಮಗೆ ಸರ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ವೀನ್ಬರ್ಗ್ ಈಕ್ವಿಲಿಬ್ರಿಯಮ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ವೀನ್ಬರ್ಗ್ ಈಕ್ವಿಲಿಬ್ರಿಯಮ್. ದೆನ್ ದ ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಸರ್ಟೈನ್ ಜೀನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಅದರ್ ಜೀನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ. Then it is helps in origin of new species. It is about the genetic drift.